thank you everybody for joining us for the luxury webinar. So who's all excited? I know we are. So I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. So Karen, tell us who you are, where you're from, and what your prize is.
So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. So my name is Karen Cove. I am from the Seychelles Tourism Board, and today I'll be telling you all about the little Seychelles Islands. So today we have a nice little goodie bag prize from the Seychelles with some spices and a beautiful little turtle that you can decorate your house with, and some little goodies. So some nice little things to remember the Seychelles. Thank you.
Super. Thank you, Karen. And Max.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, depending on where you are. My name is Max Chanturi. I'm based in London, and I look after Eagles Palace and Eagles Villas. It's a stunning SLH property in HALKIDIKI in Greece. And our prize for today is actually 3 nights for 2 on half board at Eagles Palace. So fingers crossed, guys.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And Conrad, that's making us all jealous with the real backdrop.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. In your case, I'm Conrad Wagner. I'm bringing you greetings from Calabash Cove in St. Lucia in the Caribbean. I'm the managing director here, sitting on the beach in one of our rooms. We have a prize for you. That's a gift voucher. You can do whatever you want with it. And I hope you're the lucky winner. Nice to have you with us. Thank you very much for attending.
Super, thank you. So everybody, listen to all of the presentations carefully, because we'll do the fastest finger first, but every single person that is on the webinar till the end will be entered into the prize draw. But if you are quick enough to get the first answer, you'll get entered 10 times. So you've got a bigger, stronger chance of winning. So we're going to start the luxury webinar today. So Karen, lead the way. Take us to the Seychelles, please.
Will do. Thank you very much, Sarah. So I will start all about the Seychelles. Okay, perfect. So the Seychelles Islands, here we are located just north of Madagascar on the east coast of Africa. So about 4 to 10 degrees south of the equator. We are an archipelago, so there is 115 islands altogether. Many tiny islands in a big area of ocean. As you can see here, you have the inner island group. This is where all the action is, where all the people would go, the visitors would go. And all the outer islands are more or less uninhabited. We have 2 types of islands, the granitic islands that you see here, who are the islands with the mountains, the forests, the nature reserve, and the typical Seychelles planet. But we also have the little flat little coral atoll. And it is kind of like 2 destinations in one, and you can visit both and have completely different experiences. Island group, like I said, all the action is here, the hotels, all the activities and attractions. So you have the main island of Mahe, where everybody would land from the international airport. The first thing I always suggest when traveling to the Seychelles is island hopping. It is a perfect destination for island hopping. 1 week in the Seychelles, you can do 2 to 3 islands in one trip very easily. So from Mahe, you would go from island to island. Each island is unique and different. So, you know, great combination over 2 or 3 days. And it's also quite easy to do it via the ferry boat, the domestic flight, and also the helicopter. The travel distance as well is very short. So Mahe being the main island and the largest island, you have the capital, Victoria, and the international airport. So all our flights would land here. Victoria is known to be one of the smallest capitals in the world. So you can walk around in half an hour and you've completely discovered the whole little town. It's very beautiful. You've got a tropical market, museums, churches, art galleries, and definitely the market is a must, because this is where you can buy the spices and souvenirs and really mix a bit with the local people as well. So Victoria should definitely be on the itinerary. Outside of the Victoria, you've got a few interesting attractions. For example, the plantation house that you see at the top. This is a distillery, and this is where you can see how they make our local rum, the Takamaka rum. And you can also do some rum tasting and a little bit of shopping. And there's a cute little restaurant there as well. So you do have a botanical garden, spice gardens, and of course on the island you do have some stunning beaches. We do have some of the most breathtaking beaches in the world, and again uncrowded and deserted. So most of the time you're on your own little private beach. The island is surrounded by 3 marine parks, so it's excellent snorkeling. So on your own from the beach, you can go out and really discover the underwater world. Just on Mahe, you have 12 different trails, and these are nature trails that you can walk with a guide, go up and discover. Some of them are 30 minutes, some of them are 2 or 3 hours. And for nature lovers, Seychelles is a paradise because there's so much to discover in terms of the flora and fauna. So you can imagine you can go swimming in the waterfalls right in the middle of the forest. Then from Mahe, you move down to HALKIDIKI. So it's only 1 hour by fast ferry boat or 15 minutes domestic flight. And Prala is very special because it is the home to our UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Vallée de Mai. So it is one of the sites that we have in Seychelles. It's beautiful tropical rainforest and the home to our very famous coco de mer. And the coco de mer is the nut that you see there, and it is the largest and heaviest nut in the world. It grows up to about 30 kilos. So that's the female, and that is the male nut, and they grow on 2 different trees here in this tropical rainforest. Really must be on the itinerary. It's also the home to the black parrot, which is a bird you will only find in the Seychelles. The island has beautiful beaches, Installation, Georgette, so lots to see when you are there. Some really nice small islands around that you can go for day trips. I'll show you quickly. Installation, like I said, uncrowded, deserted. So this is also one of the most famous beach on the island. Cousin is a little bird nature reserve for bird lovers. You want to go bird watching. Arid as well. We have about 13 endemic species of birds in the Seychelles. The giant land tortoises, you will find them all over the islands, but here on Curious, they roam around and it's their home, and you can go and visit for the day as well. Then from Prala, you go down to HALKIDIKI, which is the 3rd largest island in terms of size. So HALKIDIKI is very different. I always feel like when you go there, you go back in time. It's a slow pace of life. It's very relaxed, and you get this authentic local Creole experience. The main mode of transportation on the island is bicycles. So locals and visitors, that's the only way to get around. It's a small island, so you rent a bike and you explore on your own. From Prala, it's only 15 minutes by boat. So if you're staying overnight on Prala, definitely a day trip to HALKIDIKI, I would encourage. This is one of the most photographed beaches on HALKIDIKI and in the Seychelles, the Anse d'Argent. It's also really well known because of its granitic boulders and formation. It is really stunning. Again, it's a must to go there when you're on the island. On the other side, you have stunning beaches like Grand Anse, which is as beautiful as well. But again, you would hardly see more than 10 people on that beach. On Skoko, if you want to do a bit of trekking. So some really beautiful little beaches to discover. The other granitic islands are mainly one island, one resort concept. So you have your higher end, your luxury, your private pool villas, and a lot of them are quite famous, like North Island, Fregat, where we had the royals and the Beckhams and all the movie stars. So these are perfect if you want to combine it with, let's say, Mahe Prala, and you can do a couple of days on each one. So it is ideal to get your own little island feeling, your own little private island. Just north of Mahe, we have 2 of our coral atolls, and they are accessible, only about 30 to 45 minutes flight, and that is Bird and Dennis. Again, it's a completely different experience, and even the geography, the topography as well. It is surrounded by a coral reef, and it's completely flat. And the best for there is fishing, diving, and of course, snorkeling. And you would definitely bound to see the sea turtles there. This is a very famous guest, and his name is Esmeralda, and he lives on Bird Island. And he's actually one of the oldest giant tortoises in the world. So he's nearly 200 years old. So if you ever go to Bird Island, you'll be able to meet Esmeralda. Then when you look out further out into the outer islands, most of them are uninhabited. So you have 2 of them, which is De Roche and Alphonse, and they have a resort. So again, the luxury high-end resort you can combine with Mahe or Prala. And it is very much a modern Robinson Crusoe experience out there. Excellent diving, fishing, snorkeling, and really getting away from everything. And you can have the flat lunch on the sandbanks, go swimming with the rays and the dolphins. So it's quite a unique experience. So in terms of the Seychelles in general, it's a very small population, about 98,000 people, mixed blend of people from Europe, Africa, and Asia. So you get that real melting pot of cultures. Everybody speaks 3 languages, English, French, and our local language, which is Creole. When can you travel to the Seychelles? Very important question. It is an all year round destination. So we are outside of the cyclone belt. So we do have this pleasant climate all year round. The temperature ranges from about 26 to 32. All year, so it is perfect. If you are looking for the best months, then I would say March, April, May, September, October, November is the best of the best. So your spring and summer here in the UK. December to mid-February, we do get a bit of tropical showers, mainly a couple of hours of rainfall, but it's not all the time every day. We do get a bit of rainfall throughout the year as well. So it is a really great climate. In terms of accommodation, in terms of the luxury, as you know, Seychelles is known to have the high end. We do have these stunning properties. For example, this is a located on a perfect beach with the private villas and pool, but you also have your nice little guest houses, self-caterings, apartments, little bungalows and villas. So whatever your budget, you can find something. In terms of the environment, like I mentioned, is very important. We have about 1,000 species of endemic flora and fauna. So it is not just a beach destination, there's so much to discover. Little examples, the green geckos, the sea turtles, the beautiful flowers, the tiny frogs. So a lot to see, the tortoises and the turtles as well. This is our second UNESCO site, Dabra. It is the world's largest raised coral atoll in a very, very special place. Very few people have been there, and it is located quite far away from Mahe. What can you do when you get there? Again, it's not just a beach destination. You won't be bored and just lying there and tanning. Lots to do, walks and trails. Like I mentioned, this is the best way to discover the flora and fauna. On Mahe, Praia Ladik, and the other granitic islands, you get some great trails. Sailing and cruising, one of the best ways to visit at least 8 to 10 islands in one trip. If you're doing, let's say, a 6 nights cruises. Day cruises as well. Fishing is very popular, big game fishing, deep sea fishing, and out on the sandbanks, on the atolls, fly fishing. We do have a world-class fly fishing out there. Snorkeling, again, the water temperature is about 28 degrees, so it's perfect and great visibility, especially when we're looking at April, May, and October, November. That is perfect. Diving as well, same period. You can go diving of all the islands, but for the expert divers, I would say the outer islands and the Coraline Islands are ideal. Amazing underwater world. We have a golf course, an 18-hole golf course on the island of Praia. So for golfers, you can try out the course. Wellness and spa, very relaxed. We have all the beautiful high-end resorts that have all these very unique spas. And what Seychelles has always been known for, islands of love, very romantic. So the wedding in Seychelles is legal. You get a certificate, you do a civil wedding, and you can also do the religious ceremony, and it is recognized internationally as well. But the perfect thing about it is you are spoiled for choice in terms of locations. So from the granitic rocks to the up top into the mountains, into the rainforest, on the beaches. So you are really spoiled in terms of that. Some basic essentials from the UK, quite a short time difference, 3 hours in the summer and 4 in the winter, a little bit more from Canada and the US. No visa needed to enter the Seychelles, no vaccinations for tropical diseases. You can drive around, you can rent a car and easily just explore Mahe and Praia by car, and Ladik's bicycles, but there's also the local taxis and buses as well. So quite easy for you to move around. Just to round off, I think I've mentioned a lot of these points. What makes Seychelles unique? What makes it so different? The flora and fauna, I believe. The beaches, uncrowded, deserted. We are still very much an exclusive destination. So when you go there, you know, we are not over commercialized. We do not have the mass tourism, so you still get that exclusivity. The pleasant climate all year round, which is ideal. The people are very friendly, so they really make you feel at home, like one of the visitors. And Seychelles is still considered a very safe destination, so you can go around on your own and you can visit, and you know, you don't have to worry about anything. No tropical diseases, and also no dangerous plants or animals. So you can go hiking, you can see the little spiders and little insects, but nothing to worry about and nothing dangerous or poisonous. Lastly, before I finish, I just want to give one good announcement. By mid-March, Seychelles is opening up to all visitors from all around the world. We do have a campaign going on where the population is being vaccinated. So by mid-March, 70% of the population will be vaccinated, and then we will be opening up to everyone. So that is great news. All you will need is a PCR test to come in. So this is very good news, and hopefully we can keep to our target and open that in March for everybody to come and visit the beautiful islands. So thank you very much. We do also have an online training program. If ever you want to go and try out the module, Seychelles Superstar, please do go and try it. And if later you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Thank you very much. I will hand over to Max.
Thank you, Karen. That was very, very good. We haven't had a single question so far for you because I think you've just covered everything. So this is a challenge. Give us a few questions for Karen. So now, thank you. And Max, over to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, I hope everybody can see my, it's all okay, right, Sarah? Yes, thank you. Okay, from beautiful Seychelles, we're heading off to the Mediterranean, Eagles Palace and Eagles Villas. I'm sure many of you know the property. It's been quite popular in the UK market. We are located in HALKIDIKI. It's northern Greece. I don't have a map here, but I'm sure if you visualize northern Greece, we're near to Thessaloniki. So you fly from London or from other parts of Europe to Thessaloniki, and we are 120 kilometers from the airport, like most of the luxury hotels in HALKIDIKI. We are located on the peninsula called Athos. Athos, this is the third peninsula in HALKIDIKI, one of the most sacred place in Orthodox world. So we have monasteries there on Athos Peninsula, and we are just 4 kilometers from that monastery state of Athos. Eagles Palace is, as I mentioned, is the only SLH, small luxury hotel in northern Greece. It's stunning. We have 100, first of all, it's family run. It's been in this family since the very beginning, and the owners are Konstantinos and Lena Tornivoukas, and also their daughters are very much involved in the business. We have a stunning beach. The beach's got blue flag of the European Union, meaning that it's one of the cleanest beaches in the Mediterranean. In the main area here on the left side, you can see in the main building we have rooms and suites, and then gorgeous bungalows on the right side of the image. There are bungalows there as well, and right above the hotel on that hill we have 42 private villas. I'll talk about them a bit later, but it's one of those stunning legendary resorts in HALKIDIKI with beautiful beach, fabulous restaurants, fantastic spa, tennis court, so you name it and we'll have it. And just, you know, to mention that we cater actually for all segments. I don't want to say all segments possible, but for these key segments. So we cater for honeymooners, for couples, but also for families, because of the type of accommodation we offer, and also because of the services we offer on property. As I mentioned, we are just 4 kilometers from Uranopoli. This is a fishing village right near to the monastery states, and it's a very picturesque place, you know, to go. We provide free transfers to that place. You can walk there if you wish, and the monastery and the beaches in HALKIDIKI in general are just stunning. And Eagles, as I said, got one of the best beaches. In the beginning, it's a little bit shallow, which is fantastic for families. So the families with toddlers or with babies or with kids can easily use it. It's very safe. And then after 2 and 3 meters whilst you're in the sea, you can already have a proper swim. But it's fantastic crystal waters and a fantastic sand. And these are the monasteries. So the monasteries, it does look very dramatic. And as I said, it's just 4 kilometers from us. And you know, from some accommodations or from some villas, they all face the sea, the Aegean Sea. But when you take a look to the left, you can see not the monasteries itself, but the holy mountain of Athos. So it's a very interesting place to spend your holidays at. Again, the beach is fantastic. As I mentioned, so when we were talking about the segments, right, we have adults only area, but also an area which is great for people who want to have more fun in terms of, like, there is a beach bar, there is a water sport activity center on the beach, and each sunbed would have a button on it. So if you need a drink whilst you're sunbathing, or if you would like to have lunch, you just press the button and a Greek god or a goddess will appear with a bottle of Prosecco or champagne, depending what you prefer. So in terms of accommodation, 157, so it's 157 rooms and suites. And also bungalows we have at the resort at Eagles Palace itself, and 42 private villas newly built. We built them in 2017, so it's quite a new product. Those villas are above the hotel, so it's a little bit with stunning views, and we have golf buggies going up there, or you can just walk. It's not an Amalfi Coast, you know, it's not like you need to walk a lot to get down to the beach. It's about 100 to 200 meters above the hotel. You will have stunning villas there as well. So bungalows are right, they are seafront, and some of the bungalows will have private access to the beach. And what I also wanted to mention in terms of families, many accommodation at Eagles Palace will have interconnection options. So you could interconnect 2 junior suites, for instance, or a suite with a room, or we'll have also family suites with as a category, and also suites with private pools and private access to the beach. And again, the views are stunning. You know, we are located right in the middle of the Mediterranean gardens. In front of you is the stunning Amuliani Island. There is a Drenia Island. And because we are in a bay, you will never have any choppy waters or any storms, because it's always serene. You know, you won't have any large waves there, even during storm, because it's, you know, because of the location of the hotel. Kids Club, again, one of the key selling points for us. It's one of the best in Halkidiki, or I would say even in Greece or in Mediterranean. We have the Explorers Kids Club for kids from 4 months up to 13, and obviously that group will be divided in different age groups. So there is like a crash, we call it a nest for them. And then the Shake Kids Club, it's from 5 up to 13 years old. And both clubs will have, or both areas will have indoor and outdoor areas for the kids. Swimming pools, they can be heated. So we have one or a few main swimming pools, which are not private, but as I mentioned, some bungalows and suites, and all the villas, all 42 villas will have private swimming pools. In terms of dining experience, listen, we're in the Mediterranean, we are in Greece, and the owners themselves are big foodies, so they've traveled a lot around the world and bring all the new things to Eagles Palace. We have on property at Eagles Palace 5 restaurants and 5 bars. I'm not going to talk about all of them. I'll send a lot of information to you guys so you can go through it, and hopefully one day you will come and taste it yourself. But this is Camares. This is fine dining restaurant that we have. It's on a wooden balcony overlooking the sea. It's under the palm trees. It's very, very romantic, idyllic, serene setting, amazing for tasting menu. And the menu is created by Michelin star. Actually, the chef's got 2 Michelin stars. His name is Arnaud Bignon. So the menu here is created by him. And this is my favorite place. It's a Greek taverna right on the beach. It's called Armira. So it's where you just taste the Greek life. And, you know, I wanted to say la vie en rose, it's in French, but anyways, so it's a lot of rosé, a lot of fish food, and you are right on the beach. It's ideal place for long lunches. And in the evening, we convert it in a seafood restaurant. Again, very romantic, ideal for couples, but also for families, of course, for lunch. Melathrone, it's our main restaurant where we serve our breakfast and dinners. Can you imagine you having breakfast with such view? And again, because we're about 10 to 15 meters above the sea level, the views from the resort are just stunning. The spa is an Elemis spa, so it's one of the best. Again, Elemis, you probably guys know it. It's a British brand. We have 6 treating rooms. We can organize, especially because of the situation right now, lots of treatments can take place outside. And also we have a spa at the villas as well. So there is a main spa center at the hotel, and then there is a spa center at the villas. In terms of experiences, well, the water sports center is right on property. It's PADI certified. So if your clients would love, the guests would love to dive in the Mediterranean, that could be arranged. Of course, there is kayaking, there is paddling, etc. Everything what water sport center can offer, we can offer to your clients. And I also wanted to mention that we have a yachting club, and we also have an Eagles Club. It's on one of those islands in front of us. We have our own Eagles Club, so the guests can take a boat and go there for a day. There are sunbeds. They can arrange, you know, champagne and lunch to be brought to them to that island. It's ideal place, you know, to get out of the resort and spend your time in the middle of the Mediterranean on a beautiful private beach, which belongs to Eagles Palace and Eagles Villas. The rates for that, but obviously it will be at an additional charge. The rates I could send to you if you wish. And then briefly about the villas, as I mentioned, in 2017, we launched 42 private villas, from junior villas up to 3-bedroom villas. And I know you as travel agents probably know how difficult to find a junior or even 1-bedroom villa in the Mediterranean. Normally these villas are 3, 4, 5, 6, up to whatever. But we have junior 1- and 2-bedroom villas with private decks, swimming pools. All the pools can be heated up. So if you wish, if you're traveling there in April or May or in October, probably you will need to do that, and it's at no cost. And they are stunning. The views from there are stunning. Each villa will have a private pool, a deck, as I mentioned, but also a butler service. Butler is not in the villa, but if you need butler services, you just, again, press the button and he will appear and will be at your service. Again, we would normally walk down from the villas on the beach. It's not a problem at all. But if you are wearing stilettos or if you had too much champagne, you can just call the butler. Again, the buggy will arrive and bring you down to the beach or to a restaurant on the beach, whatever you would like. Everything can be arranged for you and your guests. And again, the views are stunning from our villas. And it's ideal, again, for couples, for families, for small groups. We had a group from the UK I think it was 2 years ago, sorry, last year it wasn't. Even though we were open, but we were 2 years ago, and we had a multi-generational group. So we sold 10 villas to a group of, you know, grandparents invited their kids and grandchildren. And so it was a fantastic stay for them. Just very briefly, if you are looking to travel from Thessaloniki by helicopter or from Athens, we have helipad on the top of the hill. We have tennis courts. We have amphitheater, open air amphitheater, and we even have a little church on property. So if you would like to get married or baptized, you name it, we can. It can be all arranged at Eagles Palace. I have a little video. I hope it will run smoothly, and if not, I will still send the link to you. Thank you so much. And just a brief question, right, Sarah? Do I need to?
No, if you can answer the questions on chat, and then we'll do the questions at the end.
Okay. Over
yeah,
to
thank you.
Lucia, I think, yes?
Yes, we're going to see Conrad now, who's live from St. Lucia. But thank you for your presentation, Max. And you've got a lot of people dreaming and a lot of people desperate to get there. So thank you.
Hopefully this year we can be still in Greece. So guys, fingers crossed.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to hand over now to Conrad.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sarah, and welcome to Calabash Cove and welcome to the Caribbean. I would like to play my video first, if you don't mind. So if we could do this, Martin, that would be wonderful. And then afterwards, we talk a little bit about Calabash Cove. I hope I didn't ambush you there.
No, I'm all set up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. Right, we're ready. I'm just going to play it now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for playing that video. And thank you again for joining me here at Calabash Cove in the Helen of the West Indies, right on the beach. That room that you saw at the end, that Water's Edge College, that's exactly where I'm sitting right now. So behind me, you see the Caribbean. Calabash Cove is it's a true boutique resort. We have only 26 suites. We are adults only. That means we can only accept guests of age 16 years and older. We're lucky enough that we're located on a very secluded, I can't say private because there are no private beaches, but on a very secluded beach in the north of the island of St. Lucia on the Caribbean side, so very protected. There's a reef about 200 yards in front of the resort. You know, these days everybody talks about distancing and giving a little space to everybody and so on. I believe we have practiced this long before anybody even talked about it. We're fortunate enough that we have a lot of space for everybody. It's easy to spread out and get a little privacy. So there's never any issue where you have to worry about finding a chair on the beach or a cabana around the pool or a table in the restaurant. Because I firmly believe luxuries and quality of life are not just fancy things, glitz and marble and gold and so on, but also time and space and the ability to be able to let go and just relax. The ability to strike up a conversation with one of our team members and he can talk to you for 15 minutes because he does not have to rush off and look after all kinds of other job-related activities. So that's our way of looking at this luxury experience in the Caribbean. We have a little spa, as the name suggests, the tea spa. Because we're small, we can do all kinds of stuff. I mean, first of all, we make our own exfoliation lotions from organic products with coffee, papaya, whatever they are. I'm not an expert on it, but I know we do. And because of our size, we can do the treatments anywhere, right? We can do them right here where I'm sitting. The patio is large enough to hold 2 massage tables. We can do them on the beach. We can do them on the boardwalk. And of course, we suggest you do them in the spa where you have the best experience. We can also combine them with other activities at sunset, you know, with a bottle of champagne afterwards and strawberries. And the jacuzzi drawn in your room when you're done with the massage. Or if you want to have a mud wrap, you can have it on the beach. It's a nice little thing. You have your mud wrap, and when you're done, you roll off the table and you go for a swim in the Caribbean. We have three categories of accommodations. All of them have unobstructed, spectacular views of the Caribbean Sea. We're fortunate enough that we're facing west towards the sunset. So we have spectacular sunsets. All the rooms have either a large patio, like where I am now, or a balcony. And the basic amenities in all of them are the same. They all have a king-size bed, flat screen cable TV, a full-size jacuzzi, a rain shower, double vanity, a minibar with a proper fridge and a real-size fridge, and of course free Wi-Fi and so on. The main difference is that we have 4 of these swim-up junior suites that you saw that go straight out into the main pool. And most hotels create these swim-ups somewhere in the back to create additional value. In our case, we have them at the front. They're not our largest accommodations, I must admit. They have a very, very large patio, as you saw. But in order for us to create value with these, we made them directly accessible to the pool, and they still have a sunset in the afternoon to watch. And then, of course, we have our premium accommodations, which are the Water's Edge cottages. These are larger units with a full-size big living room and a patio that's the size of most living rooms, and a separate bed that can be blocked off with an outdoor rain shower that is still private and secluded, and of course, your own little pool right in front of you, between your living room and the Caribbean Sea. And in our case, because we're so secluded, there's really nothing between you and that sea. There's no fence behind, there's not a lot of activity, there's not hundreds of people trucking up and down or offering you services. It's really just nobody in front of you, literally a stone's throw away. From some of them, you could literally spit in the Caribbean, if I may say so. Now, I have been around for a little bit, and before I became self-employed to build this with some friends, I worked for the Caribbean's leading all-inclusive company that is obviously throughout the islands here. And after 20 years, I left and I decided to do my own thing. And there were certain expectations what I wanted to have in the hotel. I wanted a place where I can, with confidence, say to my friends, come visit, but also where anybody could come by and have a cup of coffee or have a drink at sunset without having to go through the whole all-inclusive protocol. But an interesting thing happened because of my connections with the travel trade. Even before we opened, people would say, Conrad, can you also quote that all-inclusive? So of course we did what everybody else wants in the world, or what many people want. We offered an all-inclusive option. And I didn't really want nickel and diming. I hate dealing with issues that are from a guest that is not happy, right? So we created what we call the unconditional all-inclusive. We didn't want, when you sit down, to get pushed to buy an additional bottle of wine. We didn't want to give you the menu and say, here's the menu, plus you have the option to purchase a steak or lobster or whatever. Or here's the wine list for the additional wines. And so as part of the unconditional all-inclusive, there are no surcharges, right? There's no issue about a really fancy bottle of rum in the bar that you only see when you ask for it. Or we include over 20, I think it's 24 wines by the bottle as part of the all-inclusive. And you can have them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And as Mark was saying, you can have them on the beach, right? You just ask for a bottle of Prosecco, and it is part of the all-inclusive. We don't give it away. It's not free, it's not cheap, but it's our unconditional all-inclusive. The same thing applies with room service. We have a full room service menu. There are no additional charges. There's no delivery fee, and there's no restrictions on the daily specials. I mean, for example, during the time when lobster can legally brought the Caribbean, we include a daily lobster dish as part of the all-inclusive offers of the daily specials. So really and truly, we like to think it's unconditional. You have a few choices for lunch. You can eat from a limited choice on the beach. Otherwise, you can eat at the pool bar where there's proper tables and everything else. You can eat in the main Windsong restaurant that's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you can also have a room service and have lunch or whatever meal you decide on the privacy of your balcony or patio. And in reality, a lot of our guests we don't see until the evening. Sometimes you walk around in the day or in the restaurant and my friends would say, my God, where are all your guests? But you don't see them. They're out and about exploring the island. St. Lucia is a very beautiful destination with lots to do. Or they just have their meal at the pool, on the balcony, or on the beach with no additional charge once you have booked the unconditional all-inclusive. Now we do all of this a little slower than most all-inclusive hotels, right? We'd like to think we prepare every meal fresh. We won't rush you through it. We don't offer any buffets. Now, some people say that's bad. Some people say that's good. It's just what we decided to do. Every meal is prepared fresh, and we would love for you to take a little time and enjoy it in the restaurant. During dinner in the evening, we have live music. It's background at a volume level where you can still carry on a regular conversation without having to compete with the music. Now, St. Lucia has been open since July. I understand it's very difficult for some people in the United Kingdom to come to the island. We, funny enough, do have a few once in a while, but I'm not getting into that. What we do for our friends in North America that have to have now an antigen test to return back into the US, we offer that test for free if they stay with us for 7 to 8 nights. And if they're not, then we charge them $50. The test is done in the resort. St. Lucia has very strict protocols. So every resort that is open now has a medical station with a nurse. And the test virtually takes 5 minutes. We ask the people when they want it. They do it between breakfast and lunch, after breakfast, in the morning on the way, whatever. It takes virtually a minute or two. The nurse takes it, puts it in refrigeration, and makes sure it gets to the lab. And in case of the antigen test, the result is usually available within a couple hours of being dropped off at the lab. But of course, they guarantee between 24 and 48 hours. And there's another interesting thing, and I understand it has very little meaning right now for our UK friends, but should you test positive for whatever reason, and that test that you take before going home says you're now positive, we will put you up for free, right? We will let you stay here for free. You would have to take care of your own meals and your beverages, and possible if you have some medical charges. but providing that you have no symptoms, that you just happen to catch this thing, you get to stay with us as our guest for free until you're able to travel on a regular aircraft. Again, of course, if you go on your own plane or have some other means of getting off the island, you're free to go home. But that's our offer to you, because we feel it is very important that that we project this confidence to our traveling partners, right? To the partners in the travel trade, and also to our guests. We encourage them to go somewhere at a time when a lot of information is flying around. We have an obligation to make sure we do this in a safe manner by how we operate the resorts, but also giving people the confidence, if they should stay with us and something should happen, that they're not on their own and say, well, tough luck, here's the number for the hospital, right? So I just want to have that said without really belaboring the point. St. Lucia has a lot to do, right? There's endless excursions from regular deep sea fishing, snorkeling, and diving. We have a few unique things, like you can climb the pitons. It's getting more and more popular, can be arranged through our concierge. We have our mud baths. So many of our guests, even if they book the all-inclusive, they spend a day or half a day away from here ziplining or going to one of the attractions, and we can arrange all of them. We do all of this in a very unobtrusive way. We really don't want the all-inclusive promise to break down after the bellman says, welcome to Calabash Cove. Now, I understand we may leave a little money on the table there, but it is up to our guests if they want to have a spa treatment or go on an excursion or do something, book a private dinner on the boardwalk or something out of the ordinary, or a special sunset trip. We'd be happy to arrange it for them, but we try not to solicit it so that people can have a true all-inclusive experience the way they were when they first started, before many of us learned how to make extra money. There's all kinds of promotions. If you're traveling from North America now, between now and April, there's a 7th night free, and of course a sale. I don't want to get into detail. For the summer, we'll have a 5th night free, and we also do, of course, destination weddings. We're an ideal place for small weddings away from home. We organize the whole thing. Every one of them is an individual affair. We will never book more than one wedding on any one day. That's our promise to the bride and groom. And there's all kinds of wedding packages, but most of them are very individually planned. And interestingly enough, because of what is going on in the world right now, we get every day inquiries about buyouts, takeovers for the whole resort and so on. And with only 26 rooms, we have actually an offer, an all-inclusive offer for 52 adults to stay with us and take the entire resort and do what they want. And in that case, they could also bring children, of course. So St. Lucia is open for business for what it is worth. I know it's quiet, but we're here. If you feel there's somebody that is trying to get out of the blizzard that the United States and the Northeast had last year, then we're happy to talk to you. If you have any questions, we're here too. We're small, we own operate it, and we get to know our guests, right? I mean, we have a lady here right now. It's her 8th visit. She's here for 9 nights, and she comes from Chicago. And some days, because she loves it here, she actually sleeps on the patio because of it's so quaint in the bay. So thank you very much for being here. Any questions, I'll be happy to help out.
Super, thank you very much, Conrad. Okay, we've got a couple of questions that have come in, so I'm just going to whiz straight on to these at the moment. So Karen, are you there?
I'm here. Sorry.
It's okay. We've got a question for you. Michael has asked, the direct flights from the UK, do BA still fly direct, or will they be flying direct? Or
they have stopped for the moment, and we're not sure exactly when they might be coming back. So hopefully soon, at least before April, but we don't know for now. But unfortunately, they stopped right now.
Okay. No problem. Thank you very much. Max, we've got a question for you. Water sports. What water sports are available?
Well, there is a plethora starting from, gosh, I had to open the menu. I will send it to everybody, of course, but it's water bikes, windsurfing, scuba diving, water skiing, stand-up paddling, sailing, etc., etc. So it is on property and it's at additional charge. So.
Super, thank you. And what board basis does Eagle Palace offer?
Eagles Palace, so it's on, obviously if you just book the room, then it's like everywhere, in most hotels in Europe, it's bed and breakfast, so breakfast will be included. Otherwise, we can, if you would like, you can do half board or half board premium. Half board, you will have breakfast and dinner in one particular restaurant, it's Melathron. Otherwise, if it's a half board premium, then it's dine around.
Super. I think we're now moving on to Susie. You've asked a question, but I'm not sure who it's to.
I've already replied, yes.
Okay, so that was for you. Okay, super. Okay, so Conrad, Celine's asked, is there a resort tax at the property?
Yes, St. Lucia has introduced a tourism levy that came into effect just before Christmas. But the rates really, once you get the rates, they included, it says plus taxes, and the taxes include the service charge, which would cover the tips, also the VAT, value-added tax, and also the resort levy. So once it says plus taxes, it's built into this. That's how we do it. Now, I do understand the question, because a lot of hotels say it has to be collected on the property separately, but it's a little confusing and complicated. We include it in the taxes, and then we take it out again and hand it over to the government. But once you get the price quote, that's already part of it. You won't get hit with the additional $12 a night.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Is your hotel, is it gated? So is the security around it?
Yeah, there's security around it, and there's also a barrier at the entrance that is open during the day, and at night we lower it. We're in a very secluded bay. I used to work for 20 years, over 20 years, in a place with a fence on all four sides, right? Even in some cases on the beach. I'm not a big fan of it. It's very safe. There's a barrier on each side of the property, to be honest, that you can walk around if you walk along the beach. And there's security 24 hours a day, because we have to have that, and the rooms have a safe, and there are some cameras in the back of the house areas and so on. But it is a very open place, because we, under normal circumstances, we do a little bit of business with the local population. We have this spectacular restaurant with really, really good food that overlooks the Caribbean. So we have people from villas nearby, from other hotels, to come here for lunch or for dinner. So we have a very welcoming environment, but it's safe.
Super. Is the Jazz Festival going to return in 2021?
I don't think the Jazz Festival is going to come back the way it has been in the past. I believe there's something afoot right now to do it virtual. I really cannot speak on it because I don't know enough. And unfortunately, because of what's happening in our source markets, it's a very much moving target. I mean, if the UK talks about travel and so on, it's very difficult for us to do this, because we really depend not so much on what we do here, but what transpires in North America and in Europe. So if we do have a Jazz Festival, I believe it's going to be virtual. If it's really important, I will find out a little more and let you know.
Okay, super. We've just got a couple more questions, and then we're going to go on to the quiz. How does the tipping work for the unconditional all-inclusive?
Now, we don't forbid it. To be honest, we don't say employees get dismissed when they take a tip, but nobody solicits it, and you will find out. Not even the bellman hangs around after he drops off the bags if he happens to see you in the room, because we share 10% of our revenue with our team members. It's not a big deal. It's not so that anybody's uncomfortable or whatever. Now, I understand North American guests think that they should tip, so we don't prohibit it, and it happens, but it's not a requirement.
Okay, and final question. With the offer of if somebody's positive, they get to stay free. What happens with new guests coming in? Do they stay isolated in their room, or what's the protocol for that?
I didn't want to get into this, but I understand there are North American guests that are traveling as we speak, and so I have to do it. St. Lucia has very, very strict COVID protocols, and fortunately enough, since day one, From ever when we opened up, they have never really changed much. And so there are certain criteria. People that are coming to the island need to have a PCR test that is negative. They cannot be older than 5 days on the day they arrive. Once they're here, they can move about in the resort like everybody else. They will be asked to wear a mask when moving in public areas. Like, for example, when they go from their room to the restaurant, they'll be asked to wear the mask until they're seated. But afterwards, they don't need to wear it. They don't wear it in the pool or on the beach and so on. Only when they're about and could run into somebody and strike up a conversation. Now, there have been cases where people showed up with the wrong test, right? And somehow they got on the plane and they showed up here. If that happens, then the test is taken at the airport, and then they're taken in a certified transfer like everybody else. All the transfer companies are COVID certified. They're taken to the resort, and then they have to stay in their room until that result comes back from the test, right? We had that happen twice, and that's short of turning people away, right? So they didn't work with them, help them, put them in the room. Until then, they're not allowed to leave the room. They get visited by the hotel nurse. We bring them room service. We deposit it on the balcony, and they just have to wait for the result. If they're lucky, they get the result the same day. Most of the time, they get it the next day. I think in one case, it was the end of the second day. So then they have to stay here. And we would obviously try to find them one of the units that I have in here. So it's really not any punishment. But both of them would have to stay there until the test comes back.
Okay, no, that's perfect. Okay, great, thank you. So if everybody can go to your chat options, and if you can change it to all panelists and attendees, we're going to do the fastest finger questions. So Conrad, seeing as you're on, so your prize is for $50, euros, pounds, depending on who wins. So what's your question, please?
Because we don't want to nickel and dime our guests on the all-inclusive, we gave it a name. What do we call it?
Barbara, that was quick. So Barbara, unconditional. Okay, you've been entered 10 times, Barbara. So thank you very much, Conrad. Max, what's your prize and your question, please?
So my prize would be 3 nights at Eagles Palace for 2.5 board, hopefully this year. And not hopefully, I'm sure this year. And the question is, we have 157 rooms, suites and bungalows, but back in 2017, we launched how many luxury private villas on property?
Okay.
Oh God.
Is the correct answer 42?
It's 42, yeah.
Susie, you was the quickest. Okay, so you've been entered 10 times. So, wow, lots of correct answers there. Okay,
wow.
and I know, very, very fast. Everybody's on the ball. And last but not least, Karen, what's your question and your prize?
Okay, so question is quite easy. What is the name of the 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites and where are they located?
So you want both of them?
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. We've got, hang on. So the first person with both. So we've got Burden Dennis.
No.
No. Valle de Mai and Aldebrato.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's the one.
Carol. Okay, perfect.
And just before we, one of the ladies was asking about the training. So I'll just remind them it's SeychellesSuperstar.co.uk. Very easy. SeychellesSuperstar.co.uk.
Super. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, everybody. I know today's has been a long webinar, but I'm sure you've learned a lot because I have learned loads. So thank you to Conrad, Max and Karen for taking the time and coming in and educating us today. And thank you so much to all of the agents that have come on and listened. We will do a follow-up with you all and we do appreciate it. So thank you very, very much. And we will say au revoir, goodbye. So
Thank
long.
you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a real pleasure.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.